Reaction to the recent events in Afghanistan from somebody who saw the war in person. Florida Congressman Brian Mast, who lost both legs in his final assignment as a U.S. Army bomb disposal expert in Afghanistan. Brian, your take.
Very gut-wrenching in this way, and I mean that as a true word. Obviously, there's a lot to reflect on, but there's still serious ongoing operations that we need to pay attention to. Those that helped Americans that are about to be executed because they were left behind. That's the most critical thing that we need to be paying attention to. And on top of that, we have U.S. forces being sent back in there under the most dangerous possible situation, which is this: that the government in charge of our country is more worried about optics than the safety of our soldiers.
So you know this firsthand as a combat vet in Afghanistan, but I'm seeing these reports now where the Taliban is executing soldiers, demanding that unmarried women be turned over to fighters as wives, right, or sex slaves, you want to call it that. There would be, to your point about the danger, there would be no hesitancy to shoot at an American soldier trying to work on a rescue mission.
No, certainly not. But, as the administration says, well, they're not going in there under a combat mission. What do you think is going on, administration? We've been at war there for 20-plus years, and they're in danger of taking over any place that our State Department assets are at. They're being evacuated. If that's not combat and you're worried about the optics of that, you're making a dangerous situation far worse. But to your point, it's not just that they're being sold as slaves to Taliban soldiers. The sons will be raped. The daughters will be raped. The wives will be raped. Those that served alongside of us, they will be killed. They'll be hung. They'll have a bullet put in their head. They'll be killed in gruesome ways, like being beheaded. The number one piece of paperwork that they need in order to get a special immigrant visa is a document from a U.S. commander showing, documenting what was their service with us. If you think that they haven't burned that piece of paperwork, so it's not in their pocket when they get caught, so now they have no ability to prove that they served with us in order to get a visa, and their friends saw them leaving for work day in, day out for the last how many years going to work on a U.S. base. It's an extremely dangerous situation for those that helped us.
We're speaking with Florida Congressman Brian Mast, a combat vet who served in Afghanistan. So, as you know, I mean, it's easy to point fingers, maybe through the course of 4 administrations on missed opportunities, but you're a military guy, and I always think guys like yourself are solutions-based. So what now?
Yeah, the what now has to be what I just spoke about. It has to be getting those that helped us out of there, because the fact of the matter is you can't send a singing telegram to them saying, hey, go show up to the Kabul airport and we'll get you on the next flight out of there. Obviously, the Taliban is waiting there for them. Some of these people, we literally have people reaching out to my office saying, if I cross the Hindu Kush and go over into Pakistan, can I get seen at the embassy in Pakistan? That's the lengths at which people are trying to get out of there and be seen so that they can get to the United States or other places. That has to be really priority one, is those 50,000 plus people that served with us or are the families that served with us, and making sure we don't turn our back on them.
Do you see a scenario in which U.S. soldiers, separate from what's happening right now, go back to Afghanistan at some point in a military operation to battle the Taliban again?
The Biden under Obama previously, and now Biden now as president, they have a terrible track record of red lines and failed red lines and not adhering to them. We all remember the Syrian red line. They need to put a red line in front of the Taliban and let them know that if we do have to return there, this should have been done with the Marines, obviously, that are heading in there now. But if we have to go back there, you are going to be a smoldering pile of ashes, which is what you're not after 20 years of war there. We could have made you a pile of ashes. We didn't. I don't think this administration has the stones to go out there and lay down that kind of red line, though.
Do you feel that service members like yourself all feel that way?
Look, I've struggled with it, and maybe it's just justification to myself, or maybe it's how I really feel. I'm still trying to process it myself. My wife was asking me, and I've had other friends ask me, does that make what we did all for naught? And I gotta, hold my head up high and tell them to hold their heads up high and say, listen, we did what we did because we believed in our country. We believe in what our country stands for. What we do on the battlefield, we do because of those that are standing to our left and right and the commitment that we have to them. That can never be taken away from us, and we got to hold our head high. And I'm clinging to that right now. But there's definitely going to be some more soul-searching that goes on in these days to come about what was for naught and what wasn't.
There's Brian Mast, Florida congressman, also bomb disposal expert for the U.S. Army in Afghanistan.